Hey everyone, Angela O'Hare here, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
And I'm Rob Howe at the music controls, rockstar realtor. I'm a realtor. That makes you the rock star.
Yeah, so StreamYard is where we stream this video to go live. The quality is okay. I think the quality is better when we go live, but when we do the playback, I don't think the quality is as good. So now they have the option of doing background music. Can you hear it? Alrighty.
Hopefully it's low enough.
I think we should turn it just maybe a little.
Turn it up a little bit. That's gonna be really loud. It's supposed to be like into space.
I know. Hold on. Let's turn it down a little. All right. Okay. I think that's good. What do you think?
All right. Yeah.
All right.
You let us know what you think.
Let us know in the comments what you think. But today we're going to talk about some new construction stuff. But before we get started, because Rob and I don't see each other often, the reason we wanted to do this video was because, you know, when we do our market updates, they tend to be extremely long, over an hour at least, or an hour long. So we thought that instead of when we do our market update video, probably next week, that we would talk about what's going on with new construction across the Las Vegas Valley, right?
Mm-hmm.
But before we get started, I just wanted to see how things are going with Mr. Rob. He said he had a crazy week already.
Yep. It's been nuts, Ange. You know, right now you're gonna find that I'm happy, very grateful that I have a lot of work.
Right.
But right now it's about 5 times the work. You know, the low hanging fruit is no longer there. You know, it's a little higher up the tree, and you're gonna have to work for it. And it's been a little stressful, but also rewarding because things are getting done. Everything's in escrow. And I've got more coming on that I'll have to work on once these are done. So that's great.
I've switched. He's taken over for me, and you know what I mean.
Oh, on the stress side.
He's on the stress side, while I'm like living the retirement life right now.
Right. Yeah. So what's been happening with you?
Well, I went to play.
Nothing.
Well, all right. You want to know my daily routine?
Okay.
Yoga every morning. Tried to.
Not bad.
I got a new treadmill, Bowflex treadmill, and I went and played tennis for the first time in a month.
All right.
And I was super happy to play tennis. But I really briefly wanted to talk about, I received before this video a notice from unemployment when back in 2020, when we all were desperate, we all needed to file for unemployment. I filed everything accordingly. They are stating that 3 things that occurred: that I filed a fraudulent claim and I owe $16,000 back to unemployment.
What?
And the one claim was that they couldn't identify me. So I'm like, well, when I appealed this claim, I said, if you couldn't identify me, then how did you get this email and let me know that I filed?
Attorney O'Hare.
2 was that I filed this out of the United States. 1, I haven't been abroad since 1996, so that's definitely not true.
You've been abroad the entire time I've known you.
And 3, I filed it fraudulently. So the government is cracking down.
Yeah.
They're trying to get their money back.
Apparently
and they're trying to let me know in the comments if you guys, I mean, I just literally got it, but if you got notice that your claim was filed,
Jonathan?
Yeah. If you filed a claim and they're saying now that all the unemployment that you received is fraudulent and you owe that money back.
Yeah. My theory is they're going around and doing some sweeps. I'm really lazy, like just go after everybody's sweeps.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
Yeah. So, well, you guys are here to learn about what is going on with new construction across the Las Vegas Valley. And also we're going to go over builder incentives.
Okay.
Is the music okay? Is it bothering you?
We can change the music up, or maybe just
go under brand.
There we go. Your remote is, or your mouse is so different than mine.
Well, you're not used to using a Mac mouse.
All right. Well, you go ahead and start. I'm gonna set the mood here, folks.
Well, I need my mouse to look at the numbers.
Oh, do you? How about we go some acoustic? We'll drop the volume
what's rock?
You want to rock it?
Yeah, let's rock it.
All right, folks. Here we go.
Okay.
Let's get going on it.
Let's get going. Let's roll, guys. Alrighty. So we're going to go over June 2022 numbers because they're typically backlogged. We usually don't get the numbers until a month later. So builders had sold or logged 713 net sales, which are net purchases minus the canceled contracts, in Southern Nevada in June, which is actually down 23.7% from the same month last year.
Okay.
That's kind of huge.
That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The builders, they felt a little something before the rest of the market did.
We can't see the comments.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. All right. So June sales tally was the lowest of the year and marked the third consecutive month of sliding sales in new construction. Over the past 2 months, some builders have even started to slash their base price, asking price, and for the first time in a long time.
Yep.
And nationally, the pace of new home sales in June dropped from 8.1% from May. Dropped 8.1% from May and 17.4% from June 2021.
Yeah.
So not only is resale homes feeling the pinch, but new construction is also feeling the pinch.
Yeah.
Right?
That's quite a over 2 months span.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, builders logged just over 12,900 net sales in Southern Nevada last year. And this was the most since 2006, which is pretty crazy. I bet you that was like the peak.
It sure was.
And then for new construction, the median price for single story homes was $513,295.
Single family.
Yeah.
Single family, not story.
Single family homes.
Yeah.
Was a record high of $513,295. And if you recall, the median price for single family homes and resale was $280,000.
There we are. 380.
I mean,
380.
480,000.
480. Yes. Hey.
I'm just like,
we'll get there.
All righty. So buyers are seeing more and more canceling deals, builders are seeing more and more buyers canceling deals amid the growing real estate market pessimism. Yes. And then
that has a lot to do with, they feel like they got in high and then their rates are changing.
Right.
So
exactly. So they are panicking.
Yeah.
And my theory is, or my question is, especially in Summerlin, they have a lot of new construction plans for new communities coming up. What are these builders going to start doing? Are they going to start slowing down obviously they're going to have to, because there's no demand for it.
Yes.
So, we were at a very fast pace for the last 2 years when it came to new communities popping up across the valley. I think now those new communities or communities that were planned probably not going to come into fruition for a while.
Yeah, they're still there. They and a lot of these plans they've had in the works, right? When they started out these projects, they knew we're going to keep doing this. We're going to buy this land. We're going to do this, that. So these go back kind of a couple of years at least,
right?
That they've been making these plans. So it's not as if they didn't see or have in their worst plans that, hey, things might change. And, I think people see here and say most since 2006, and they automatically think, what are they thinking? What happened after 2006?
The big recession.
Yeah. The Great Recession came along and people are automatically going, oh, see, there's our sign. Well, the builders are going to, the builders, they had a big peak like that. But I just, I don't think that this is going to be anything anywhere near like what happened after 2006. Although we are clearly at a peak, and that was it right there. $513,295 for a median home closing price for a single family. That is it. We're gonna go backward from there. We're gonna settle down,
right? And
then maybe over time,
as you would say, this train had stopped and now it's at a decline.
It's leaving the station again.
It's leaving the station and going back down the hill.
Yes, exactly. So these are all. So I just want to put it into perspective in my mind is what I'm seeing. And, we'll talk about what I think and what I've seen the builders do in the past. And yes, they're going to cut back. And yes, they will they will have standing inventory, but not a lot. They're going to try to really make it so that they're building on demand.
Right.
And they will offer more and more incentives. And here's the good news for them. Is that because the last 2 years was basically 50% run up, just about, right? Nearly that. They have a little bit of house money to play with.
True.
House money. I guess
because they made
ironic,
so much profit over the last 2 years that they have. Plus, affordability is down when it comes to supply chain issues. I mean, it's not as expensive as it was in 2020 or 2021.
It's maybe marginally, but it will, as demand slows, there it should get a little less expensive for some of these things. That's going to all this takes time though. Everything is going to take time. So this is a cycle. And, I actually believe, even though I don't want to get into too much of this, but it's like my basic thought is that I'm looking for healthy. And we've been through this big run up, which is, some ways good, but also not necessarily healthy.
Right.
So whatever we're going to settle back down to is what I would hope, where we start seeing more healthy, still nice and robust market, but like not what this crazy,
more stabilized market.
Yeah.
But I think
can't have
ultimately
roller coasters. It's not
the media is what's really scaring people off. I think the media makes it worse than what it really is.
Without a doubt. And I think there's a lot of intention in this that's sent out from the Fed and the way that they're handling things that like inflation. When they raise these rates, they are sending out the message that, hey, we actually don't want you to buy right now. We want to slow down building. We want to slow down the supply, this movement, the housing market. When we don't have a robust housing market, think about how many things are not happening.
Well, to me, that causes a recession because, one, a lot of people that were working are not going to be working because they're not building the houses. The appliances are not needed as much as it was. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense. And I'm just not, I don't know. I'm not an expert in the
but
field.
You're right. You said it. They're causing a recession because my feeling is, and this is getting off topic a little bit, but it's all related.
Right.
My feeling is that they are thinking it's better to have a short, more like controlled, purposeful recession than something that would be longer, where they already delayed too long with the rate movements. If they had started them last year, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation so badly. But now they're going to do some harsh, more heavy-handed movements to create that delay. And yes, I think overall they're just thinking to themselves, well, this is mostly in housing. So you're going to have lenders that get laid off. You're going to have certainly the construction side.
Well, not only housing, but also financing of cars. Because the interest rates for cars have gone up as well.
Anything you borrow money on.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I guess just for us and looking at just housing alone, it's a big part of the economy. It's massive. When you really think about it, if somebody buys a home, how many different things start activating from there? Obviously, they bought the home, they used the lender, or they did. They're moving money around. Money's getting thrown around, and then next thing you know, you've got people, working on the property. You got people buying furniture and buying things for the property.
Right.
It's a consumer
to me, that helped the economy.
It's a boom. Absolutely. So, what I've heard is people are saying, well, they're going to do this, and then maybe next year, or when the time is appropriate, they'll start dropping rates. I don't know if I fully buy into that, because I don't know when that happens and when you can officially say now it's time, it's safe. But
there's just a lot of decisions that our government makes that I just I'm shaking my head. What the?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually if everything that I understand is what's happening, I'm for what's happening. Because again, I started out this whole spiel that I've been saying with, I want a healthy market. And if this gets us to healthy, if a little bit of pain on the front equals, some gain on the back end, I'm good with it.
Yes and no. A market is, or a value of a home is what a buyer is willing to pay for that home.
Sure.
That's the true value of the home.
100.
And yes, I understand the more stable, affordable market for home buyers. I understand all that. But by doing this so drastically, so fast, in a sense, it's causing, and it may be a brief recession, but now all these people that were reliant, that had this income for the last 2 years, are going to be, have pay cuts.
Listen, I this is why I say, it's like I wish
I mean,
they
if you
started it
were a
sooner.
realtor, you should have. If you were a smart realtor, you should have been saving
stack
the money.
your nuts.
Yeah.
Yep. You better have been squirreling.
I've been squirreling for a long time.
We have. You gotta get, and that's, listen, for you and I, the low hanging fruit is now no longer there. Okay,
Right.
Even for the sellers, the low hanging fruit is not there. You have to climb up the tree a little further. This is gonna separate the the good from the bad here, and the people that can really work this business and be in this business long term. And that's why I say, if you're thinking right now, anybody who's thinking selling or buying, make sure you get experience on your side. Make sure you get a great lender and a great agent that can help you through this tough times. I'm doing a whole little mini series of like what it takes right now, and you're going to need to be patient, and you're going to need to keep your cool, and you're going to need to know what your bottom lines are. This is absolutely essential right now, in my opinion. Everything can still be done.
Right.
You just have to really have like the mindset for it. It's no longer go out and pick the fruit or pick it up off the ground fresh and ripe,
Yeah, a lot of my clients have reconsidering Vegas and not wanting to move to Vegas. But let's just continue on with our update when it comes to new construction.
Yeah.
And it says the national
have some people.
Yeah, we'll finish this and then we'll go into that. The national cancellation rate among home builders reached 14.5% in June, according to the results survey conducted by this real estate consulting firm. That marked the highest rate since April 2020, when the COVID pandemic initially hit.
Yeah, that was pure panic back then.
Yes, that was panic. And now it's like, and that's hard.
This isn't really panic necessarily right now. This is people looking at their bottom line.
Well, they want to get a deal, and I don't blame them. And I think the builders, what they should be doing is those people that are under contract,
got to keep them in.
Keep them in and offer them incentives.
Absolutely.
Because people that are buying now are getting incentives.
Yeah.
Why can't
they're completely dopey if they don't? I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are. As a matter of fact, I would, try to keep my clients in by saying, hey, check with them,
because you're going to lose out your earnest money
if you haven't,
or whatever money you put in through deposits. I mean, it's a lot of money that you'll lose.
Maybe it's just listen, when your rates change so drastically, I think that the builders are not in the business of keeping earnest money. Okay, they just really.
No,
I always say
I've
that.
had like Toll Brothers. I've had clients that wanted to back out, and they're like, "Nope, you lost your EMD."
I mean, they're generally speaking, they can work things out.
Right.
So I would certainly hope, with this expected movement and this expected pressure that people are feeling, that they can try to work some things out. You know.
All right, let's get to some comments. Mr. Air Jordan, you want to read them?
Yeah, sure. I told everyone that inflated housing market, especially in Vegas, wouldn't last. All the realtors said nothing ever bad can happen in Vegas, and it's only going to get worse. The correction crashes here. You might have told everyone, and I wouldn't have disagreed with you if you said those things to me. I would have said that, I still think we're not in a crash. I think we're going to be in a mini correction. You can call it a mini crash.
Well, it's a domino effect. The people that want to relocate here have to sell their house, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be getting as much top dollar as they thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
So then now they have to reconsider, do we really want to relocate, or do we want to find something where we are located at instead of moving to Vegas?
Absolutely. This is a time to reassess for a lot of people.
Right. I mean, the main thing when COVID hit, people reassess their life. They reassess, well, I can work from home. I don't have to go into the office. I can do, my stuff online. But now a lot of those companies are requiring people now to go back into the office. So I think people now, 2 years later, are reassessing or reevaluating, is it worth even relocating? And for one thing that you have to keep in mind, one of the reasons why people want to relocate to Vegas is no state income tax.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Why did you want to get out of California to begin with? One, property taxes are crazy.
All of those scenarios are still there.
No state income tax.
Yeah.
3, your government, right?
Yep, absolutely. And these are all things, including others, that are still in effect in these areas. There's still a desire for people to get themselves in better positions. And if you were caught in this, that's, so you got sellers that are going to need to sell. And so That's what's going to cause, if we have some value declines, that's going to cause us. But there's going to be many sellers that are not sellers any longer. They're going to say, you know what, I'm going to hold up. I'm going to change my plans, or I'm going to put my property here. Here's what I got to get. This is my bottom line. If I don't get it, sorry, I'm not going to do it. Right. And, I know that this is a little Air Jordan. I don't know. I can't ignore when somebody's basically saying you did both disagree. I think I'd have to qualify everything that I don't think we're going in a crash. I don't think this is 2008 by any stretch. And I just alluded to why that is the case, because people the sellers are just not going to take haircuts. They have equity. They've got a lot of cash behind what they did in their purchase. A lot of new people that bought, they understood where they were buying and what was happening. You don't just get a loan anymore without being checked out, frisked down, and making sure you can afford that loan.
And I also think, go ahead.
And finally, where are the foreclosures? So until you show me that there's a whole bunch of foreclosures, I think you're dead wrong. And that's why I'm going to say all along that I would say, yes, there can be a correction, and there will be. We went up 50% in 2 years. Is it a surprise that we would have some adjustment? It shouldn't be.
Right. Well, and to go off of Air Jordan, that's when you buy new construction. When you buy new construction, especially in Summerlin or Henderson, you're going to have SIDs and lids, of course. Yeah.
Oh, what's he saying there? Taxes in Vegas.
Yeah. And then HOA and lot premiums. Okay. But when you buy resale, the property taxes tend to be half the price of new construction property taxes.
Yeah.
And we sell a lot of resale homes, not just new construction. And I always tell my clients when we sell new construction what to expect when it comes to new construction costs. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is that still relatively cheaper than California, New York.
Way cheaper. It's not
even if you include the SIDs and lids and HOAs, it's still relatively cheaper. When I tell clients the HOA, they're like, "Oh, that's great. We pay $300 and something in California." It's
not even close. It's ridiculous. And then last thing, I don't want to be too contentious here, but people said the same thing in 2008, and I was trading, and then I saw it. Cool. But what did you say in 2008 when you thought, okay, this is going to happen and the crash is going to happen? Did you know why? Did you know why? Because you need to tell me why right now. Why is this crash going to happen right now? Because if I can tell you why it's not.
And why is it going to be like 2008?
Right. Well, I can tell you why it's not going to be. So I think that's what's important to hear here is tell me something, unless another shoe drops, that I'm unaware of, that we're unaware of right now. You're talking about there is a wall here that people are going to hold. And until people really get wiped out on their jobs, which God forbid, right?
There's so many jobs available.
This is why we may be in what's called stagflation already, because gets into complication. But basically, you have inflation, and then you have recession, and you have stagflation that could be within that. Stagflation is, from what I understand, I'm not an economist, but I've been obviously keeping track of this, is when you do actually have a good job market, but the rest of the economy is shaky. You've got negative GDP growth, and you're in a recession. Right. So usually it's all those things: bad unemployment.
Yes.
And you've got the negative factors in the economy and the GDP growth. So, I'll see in a couple of years. I will see. You will see. How about that? How about you will see?
Well, and then he says terrible loans.
Terrible loans. What terrible loans?
We know in 2008.
Did you call that in 2008? Because if you did, we need.
But again, this time around, terrible loans. There were no terrible loans because the bulk of my clients and probably your clients and the bulk of the people that were buying the last few years have been cash buyers, big money buyers.
Big money going down.
Yeah. So they're not going to. Of course, they may lose value on the equity that they have, put the cash in.
Sure.
But because they didn't finance, they're not going to lose their shirt.
Yeah, either that or they're just so much more checked out than they were before. They didn't get in with free loans. They didn't get in with ARMs. Tell me about the ARMs.
The ARMs and all that stuff is yeah. So many people did that in 2008, but not now in 2020, 2019, 2016.
I see what you're saying there, Jordan. Yes, in 2008. But again, I want to know: did you call that in 2008? Because
yes, I did.
You did.
Okay. All right. But
I think people find it enthralling.
No, I know.
We're we went on. Anyway, I find it.
But real quick, I want to have another thing about if we do start seeing foreclosures, it's because those lenders that promise that people that were doing the what's that thing that you're helping? Miss O'Hara.
Yeah. Jeez, I'm sorry.
The forbearance.
Forbearance. Thank you.
All right. So people that were on the forbearance, the lenders were hopefully going to work with these people and try to put it on the back end of the loan instead of paying that huge forbearance amount. Well, there's still some people, depending on, I don't know, there's some people that may have took advantage or may not have took advantage and didn't make their payments, but now
they're fools.
Well, now the lenders are saying
sorry
that they have to pay the full amount
up
front, and it can't be put on the back end.
Okay. Well, they got equity. They just got 50% equity. You better sell before you don't have that.
Well, that's why I think if we do see an influx of homes, or we're seeing an influx of homes, my two indicators for me are, and they could be keeping them for rent, but you got that open door that had stockpiled probably a lot of homes thinking they can buy a bunch and then sell it and get more profit margins. And then what's the other one? Open door, and then the other one.
I
always forget. Open door and that other one.
Yeah, I'm just forgetting.
Offer pad.
There you go.
Offer
the
pad.
iBuyers. Just call them iBuyers. I don't even like using their name. They should not be
because
advertised.
I've seen a lot of iBuyers and a lot of listings by iBuyers, and I think that's why we're seeing an influx of listings is from the iBuyer nation.
Yeah, there are some, but really we're not seeing a whole ton of inventory come on. I'm not seeing it. I've been keeping track, of course, with my listings and seeing, okay, well, where do we need to be so I can advise my clients of where they need to be. Here's your competition. Well, thankfully, I haven't been seeing a ton. I think people are getting the message and they're just not offloading their properties. They're not trying to offload property right now, as if it's a fire sale, because they realize that's what we're looking at.
And next week we're going to go over the market update, and that will kind of be an indicator of what happened.
We'll be going over a lot of this stuff again.
All right.
And
so
the last thing I'm just going to say about the whole thing, because yes, I've been doing real estate since 2009. Okay, so that's when I got into this business. It was devastated. Okay, absolutely devastated. If we were to have any kind of similarity to that, it would be very dissimilar in how it happens. That's what I would assure you of.
Right.
Early innings. Yeah, okay. You got to tell me, are we going back to 2021? Are we going back to 2020? Are we going back even further than that? Why? Tell me why. If you tell me why, I'm listening.
I know people say prices are going to go 100, 200,000. I mean, if we gain 25%, how much percentage?
If you're at 600,000 now and you drop to 500,000, that wouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world.
Right.
I wouldn't be that surprised.
Because
in 2 years, you just gained from 400,000 to 600,000, or roughly. So now if you go down to 500,000, we're at 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah.
Okay. But that is not 2008 by any stretch.
Right.
So
yeah, because at the bottom, I think the median price in 2013, it took a few years after 2008.
It was 2011, 2012. So right at the end of 11, right at the beginning of 12.
But it was like the median price was 112,000, I think.
It was so and people weren't touching homes. They were afraid.
Yeah. That's the time to buy if you're an investor. Man, that's the time.
Yeah.
Because those people kept those houses, collected rent, and rent is going up and up and up and up. And
they've paid them off maybe even almost twice now, and they've got the equity that's 2 to 3 times.
Yep.
Oh my God!
All right, let's talk about builders. So we're going to talk about this kind of stuff in our next market update.
Yeah, sorry, how I get.
I know
This is where I get into.
All right, so there were 4 communities in Southern Nevada that are among the top 20 nationally for home builders sales this year, which is pretty exciting. That out of 20 top builders or 20 neighborhoods, we had 4 of them in the Las Vegas Valley. And the first one is, can you guess it?
Summerlin.
So Summerlin builders logged 592 home sales this year through June. And it's the 4th highest among U.S. master plan communities. However, Summerlin sales are hovering over or down 38% from the same time last year. But good to know that Summerlin is ranked number 4 in the top 10 or top 20 communities across the country.
Yeah. Well, I wonder where those other top 3 are.
Yeah, we'd have to do some research.
Yeah.
If you guys are watching, can you Google the top 20 nationally for builders sales in 2022, I guess?
Yeah.
All right. So number 2, builders sold 459 homes in Henderson's Cadence community, but sales were up 4% year over year in Cadence. That's interesting. And then
it's a boomer over there. Yeah.
388 homes sold in Henderson's. Oh, wait.
So they were 7th most.
Oh, Cadence. Yeah. Cadence is 7th most.
Yeah.
And then 388 in Henderson's Inspirata community, which is the 12th most in the nation. But their sales were down 16%.
That's because they're filling out over there.
Yeah, they're pretty much. Yeah, Cadence is still growing. Summerlin is still growing. And then Skye Canyon sold 333 homes from now until this time, for the last 6 months.
Yeah, and they're sort of like, they've been
up and down.
Burgeoning. They've been burgeoning, they're newer. So.
And they're the 18th most in the nation, but their sales were down 11%.
Okay. Well.
Yep.
Still overall, builders, they got something to cook with for a little while.
So here's my note that I wrote to myself for you guys. As the months go by, expect to see builders slashing their prices and offering huge incentives towards buyers. Not only are they offering lower interest rates and locking them in for up to a year, but we will see them cutting prices on lot premiums, cutting prices on the base price, offering closing cost incentives or buying down points or the rate, as well as credit towards design studio.
Yep.
So with that said, we're going to be going into builder incentives. What builders are offering things currently that I could see, point out across the valley. Some of the Las Vegas new home developments around the valley are offering incredible builder incentives in both upgrades and financing options. Many projects, for the most part, all of these incentives are towards their what's called quick move-in that will be ready in 30, 60, or 90 days. Yeah. These do not include any of the homes that you buy, you pick out everything, you build. And what I've discussed, and I've discussed in numerous videos, was that a lot of the builders are doing quick move-ins, standing inventory because of the supply chain issues.
That's where your best deals are.
So now what they're trying to do is get rid of all of those quick move-ins that they had picked out. And what a quick move-in is that everything has been selected. All the upgrades have been selected. All you do is just buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions, comments, guys, before we get into it? No?
And this is a great indication of where things really are. The builders tell the tale. They really do.
And most of these sales or incentives end at the end of this month. However, expect to probably see these incentives continuing because they're probably not bringing in the buyers like they want. But for the most part, a lot of these are ending because they call it their summer sales event. Mm-hmm. But right now, Pulte and American West, if you don't know, Pulte bought out American West a few years back. They're actually offering realtors up to 4% of base price for co-op. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of these lenders that are builders that were not offering co-ops or were only offering very minimal co-ops are now starting to get back on the bandwagon and starting offering us a commission because in the past.
Now they're like, hey, you got those buyers?
Like Lennar, I could have sold maybe 10 Lennar homes this year, but they weren't
those buyers?
They weren't offering me commission, so I didn't sell any Lennar homes. Now look who's begging for me to bring buyers.
I told you that would happen,
right?
Didn't I? Said, hey, this is a foolish move.
Right now, TriPoint, you need to increase my commission because I sell a lot of TriPoint. Just kidding. Anyway, so they're also offering buyers closing costs paid up to 6%, which is $30,000 if you use their in-house lender Pulte Mortgage, and this is for only standing inventory homes. Okay.
Yep.
They have over 30 quick move-ins across the valley. So if you want to learn more about Pulte Homes and their quick move-ins, reach out to Rob or I. And then also what I've noticed in Carmel Cliff, which is in the Red Point Village, they're cutting lot premiums in half.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you where that's going to go.
So the quick move-in homes are for September 2022. You get 4.2 4.25% interest rate if you use the Pulte mortgage.
That's great. If that's including the recent rate movement, that's really good.
Yep. Yeah. All right. What were you going to say?
Well, the thing that'll happen if they really dig deep, and this is again, this is like a temperature you can test.
Right.
Those lot premiums, they'll go down to only really having them on properties that are really super lots, right? And and then they'll have them more and more reasonable.
Right.
That's what you'll see happen.
Well, also, and 2 months ago in our market update video, I said that you can never negotiate price with builders.
Yeah.
Well, things are changing.
Yes. And some builders are different.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But
if they can't get rid of these standing inventories with all these incentives, then bring them an offer.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
And you need skilled agents that work in new construction and know the workaround.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The next builder is Richmond American, and they're offering 3% of base price towards closing costs if, again, you use their in-home lender. And this is, again, supposedly ending at the end of July. We'll see if that will continue.
Yeah.
And they've also done extended rate locks. I just got an email from one of the Richmond American sales agents, and the Summerston community up in the Northwest, which is Summerston Ridge and Summerston Reserve or something, Summerston, all single-story ranch homes, reduced lot premiums from $0 to $10,000, $20,000 price reduction on all floor plans, 3% of base price of your purchase home toward your closing costs when you use their lender, and $20,000 to go towards home gallery selections.
Yeah,
that is a friggin' phenomenal deal.
They're going to be packaging it up.
If you were on the fence about buying new construction, maybe wait another month.
Yeah, I think this is the same thing for any part of the market, but in the resale market, what you end up with is sometimes a lot of junk that's listed out there. But in the new home market, in a market like what we're experiencing towards the end of the year, that's where you're going to find your best deal.
Right. Now, I do want to bring up a point. When you do buy new construction, I think it's important that you buy in a master plan community and not in a one-off side of the road community. Because if you drive around the valley, you'll see those one-off side of the road communities, and you see what they look like now compared to if you drive through Summerlin, Rose Ranch, et cetera, all those major master plan communities. Because eventually they're just going to be, to me, they look dumpy. Yeah.
They're just places. You're also missing out on like some of the prestige of having, I live here, right?
Right.
Unless it has that I live here thing, it's kind of missing. And what I mean by that is like Summerlin, right?
Right.
And then we even have like, this isn't master plan, but I'm just, for example, of the naming and labeling and having that prestige, Section 10, right?
Yes.
Everybody knows Section 10 in Vegas. Okay.
Scotch 80s.
Scotch 80s, right? So you have these names. This is actually smart. And I just wanted to point out that there's an area called the Buffalo Coalition. Have you seen those signs around?
No.
Yeah, it's off of Sahara. It's like Section 10 type homes, okay?
Okay.
This is just an offshoot. Sorry to take everybody on this ride, but I think this is great and something as a buyer you should want to pay attention to. And a seller, if you want to live in a community that's going to make you more money when you sell.
Right.
They banded together as a coalition. That's why it's off of Buffalo and Sahara. Okay. And they call it Buffalo Coalition. All they did was put up signs around the neighborhood saying, this is what we're called now.
But isn't that close to the lakes area?
It's east of there.
Just east of the lakes.
Yeah, and what would it matter if you're right next to the lakes or not?
Right.
I mean, but the point is that they have created a name which will create a prestige, which will now be like, oh, I'm taking you to Buffalo Coalition, you know? Right. And it's like, I'm taking you to Section 10, right? I'm taking you to Summerlin. I'm taking you to Inspirata.
Skye Canyon, Inspirata, Seven Hills, Anthem Country Club.
And now, to your point, if I'm taking you to this street off of Lake Mead
in Spring Valley.
Well, at least it's Spring Valley.
Yeah, but Spring Valley, there's houses are just
right. No, I grew up
Paradise
there, so
or Enterprise.
I have an affinity to Spring Valley, but either way, do you know what I know what you're saying, and I want to point out that you're right. that one-off little neighborhood, you just don't get as much bang for the long-term buck right there.
I mean, if you want to maintain equity and not lose a lot of equity, you want to buy in a community that's desirable.
You're taking a gamble. Some of those turn out just fine, but
you're taking a gamble. It could be good for rental properties in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can, I mean, if they allow the rents there, you know. Also always check the HOA, make sure you can do more than 6 months leases.
All right, so let's get to Toll Brothers. They are offering 4.99% interest rate on a 30-year fixed rate on their quick move-in homes that are eligible to close by September 15th. Again, you have to use their in-house lender, and they're offering a free rate lock on homes closing 10/31/22. But they should offer a free rate lock on all homes that are closing now, not just in October because of the way things are.
Yeah, right? I think you could go in there and muscle some things around, and if you can't, then go on to another builder and see if you can. And then, I mean, look, this is your time to kind of ping pong stuff too, if you wanted to. And it makes it a little harder for us, but I'm happy to help make sure that we get it done right. You know.
Right.
Let's see. Okay, so and so is saying they'll do this for us. What about you, so and so? You know,
it's all about negotiating.
Yeah. What
can we negotiate for you? Right.
And you got to be able to recognize when it's a deal. That's another thing. So that's, you know, having smart agents that understand what's out there and what's being offered and when it's a deal. And when you love that home, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing.
Right.
You know, you love the home, you love the neighborhood, you love everything, and you're getting something that makes sense. Well, that is the deal.
Yeah.
If it makes sense.
Yep. And then Taylor Morrison has their summer fun sales event, and they are also offering 4.99% interest rate on the 30-year fixed rate when you choose one of their quick move-in homes and close by September 2nd, and to take advantage of that 4.99. So September 2nd is fast approaching, guys. I mean, it's going to be here in 2 months or
it's fast.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Also offering 4% of purchase price towards closing costs for using their in-home lender, which is pretty good. 4% of purchase price. Now, when you buy new construction, you're actually paying some of the things that normally you would not pay for when a seller is selling a home, like the real property transfer tax, some of the HOA stuff. But when you buy new construction, you're paying for those. That's why your closing costs tend to be a little more on new construction than resale, because you're paying those things.
That's why they often offer that credit, because they want to be able to help you they want to compete with the resale, right? That's really what it is.
And Taylor Morrison has a shite load of standing inventory. So yeah, Castellana. Do you know where Castellana is? They have single story homes now.
Okay.
And then Savannah, and then you also have Crested Canyon. Of course, I'm only talking about Summerlin communities. That's all I know.
That perks my ears up to say Taylor Morrison might be a place to start.
Yeah. And then they're also offering secure interest rate for 6, 9, and 12 months.
Right.
And then they have this new program that's called Hello Neighbor Referral Program. If you own a Taylor Morrison home and you refer someone to buy in that neighborhood, that person can get $2,000 credit towards design studio options. Right. Which, in reality, if you think $2,000, it's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot of money, but it's nice.
Something.
It's sort of a, I don't know, kind of has to fit in a box type of situation. But
And I'm sure there are more incentives out there, and we have more builders to go over. We're going to go into questions, and then we'll finish.
They're going to be constantly updating these.
Yes. All right. Let's see what Mr. Jordan has to say.
Yeah.
Early innings. That's a definition. Okay. I have a ton of emails from the builders with all kinds of incentives. Me too. We probably get the same emails. Wait another year. It'll be even better. Could be.
Maybe it's, because listen, some people are predicting that we're going to go through this big rate movement, and then we'll start collapsing down the rate again in early next year. So if you were to believe those people, then things could actually start to kind of stabilize more so.
In 2020, you and I both thought that 2021 was going to be different. We thought that.
This is why I'm cautioning.
Yes.
Right.
Because Rob and I made predictions that in 2020, We don't like to be wrong, but we thought in 2021, all the gains that we had gained in 2020 was going to correct itself, and we're just going to, just see a steady, stable market.
Yeah.
But 2021 came, and that was not the story.
I never really thought we would fall back value-wise, but I just didn't see us.
Well, we thought all the gains that if we did fall, it would just be taking us to the level.
Oh, yes, I do recall us saying that. Yes.
So, and my thoughts are, if we do fall, and you mentioned
we were making scenarios for if it were to happen. We think this is the worst that could happen. Right?
This is the worst. So again, we gained all this in 2 years. If we do fall, it's just going to go back to where we started, because we had seen steady growth from 20. What year did you say the lowest point it was? 2011.
Let's say early 2012.
Okay, from when I started real estate in 2016, it had been increasing. Before the pandemic hit, they stated 2020 you're going to see a crash. Well, we had a pandemic, but then after that, it was crazy. There was no real crash.
A crash in our real estate market was nowhere in my mind until the
That's
pandemic
why people
came
say
along.
say this. But we don't know. No one can ever really predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There could be some indicators. However, I just don't think there's going to be like a crash.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to revert back to our initial statement, is that we may just revert back to how we were, but then
that's what I say.
Is
do some math. Like, okay, how far have we come in 2 years? Is the worst that it can be, in my mind, and I don't even think that it's going to be this bad, anywhere near this bad, is to go down to 2020 levels.
Right.
That would be still pretty heavy. That would be really, really big. And you'd have to tell me a few reasons why that's going to happen. But, a little slide, basically back off of where we peaked out at this in just the last few months ago.
482,000 was the peak.
So I wouldn't be shocked to see that. That slide, listen, people don't like to hear backward at all. Everybody wants to hear positive, but the reality is that we might have a little something to give back. And again, we don't know what's going to happen next year. That's why I can't say that, just do this next year.
Yeah.
Or don't do this next year.
We don't know. We just only know what we are seeing with boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think we've talked about that. I'm going to predict out about 60 to 90 days at a time.
Right.
Really try to keep it within that. Every now and then I will have something that says, no, I know what's going to happen in 6 months. I think this is what's going to happen.
Right. So Lennar, if you purchase today, I think that's old news. They're also offering 4.99% interest rate on a 30-year fixed rate using their in-house lender. I'm not sure, but I did have one of my Lennar reps call me. Of course, all these reps are emailing me, begging me. They will help with closing costs. And
what does that mean?
She didn't tell me, and I emailed her back getting me specifics, but of course she didn't email me.
Yeah.
She did say when she called me the other day that they would help with closing costs and also accept offers.
Yeah. Well, with help with closing costs is like, I'm glad they would accept offers. That's cool. With help with closing costs is like getting a friend to help you move. It's like, what do you really
it
count
could
on
be
here?
like everyone else, like 3%, like
Sure.
all the other builders, 3% off a base price. Now, real quick about Lennar, they're going to have a new community, and I don't know if you know this. It's called the Arches in Summerlin. They're all single-story homes, over 3,000 square feet, 3 models with next-gen suites. You know what the starting price is? 1.4.
I was thinking it had to be the next gen thing is so big.
I love that.
Summerlin,
Yeah.
they have hardly anything happening.
1.4.
I think we're getting blown up.
Yep.
Yeah.
1.4 million starting price. Let's see. They're not supposed to open till fall of this year. We'll see if they open and what the actual starting price will be.
Yeah.
Now for TriPoint, again, as I know, I tried to reach out to the agents that I work with, but they haven't responded either. They're offering, as I know, 3% of base price towards closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
If you use, again, the key is using their in-house lender.
Yeah.
And then Century Communities, you get up to $15,000 towards closing costs on discount points when you finance with their affiliated lender. And again, contract has to be by 7:30, which is tomorrow, and close before 9:30.
I'm sure they'll extend that out, but you know what that means, discount points, right?
Yeah, discount points.
That's buying those interest rate points down.
Yeah, if you can buy those interest points down. Okay, so one, would you rather get closing cost incentives, say $16,000, or would you use that $16,000 to buy down your interest rate points? Because that's 16 or part of it. I mean, all that 16 is not going to cover the points if you want to go down to 4% or 3%. So that's not going to cost.
You can only
16.
Usually conventionally you can only buy down 2 points.
So okay.
Just so you know.
Okay. So, but that's still huge savings, and the rest of it you can use towards your closing costs.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
that's what you got. I'm advising it as much as possible right now. And listen, this is a message that people need to get out. I think sellers will be happy to get their number, and then still, this is the same for builders, what they're doing, and still build in some closing costs and say, hey, okay, you do what you want with those. I get my number. Everybody's happy.
Ultimately, if the sellers do it that way, instead of offering a price decrease,
it'll hold value.
It'll hold value a little more, and also
exactly what's going to happen.
And in reality, the mortgage payment for the buyer is actually more beneficial, because I had the lender show me this
absolutely.
graph of the logistics of it all.
Yeah, look, absolutely. That's what I've been saying. We can basically get you close to yesterday's interest rate. And when I say yesterday, up to a 2-point buy down, and you're buying today's prices or close to whatever. You're sort of buying into the future on the prices. You hope you can get a price that makes sense, and that's what you want to do with builders too. Try to make something that makes sense, and then get that buy down.
Yeah, it just, how desperate are the builders going to get? Well, let me go over this D.R. Horton, and then we're going to close it out. And talk. So D.R. Horton, all I could find there was special interest rates on certain D.R. Horton homes for a limited time when you use their mortgage provider. But I couldn't find anything else on D.R. Horton.
They'll accept offers.
Yeah, with D.R. Horton, they were really known they do a lot of spec homes, and they're known for building in 90 days. I don't know with the whole
not recently.
With the whole shortage of supplies and stuff. I don't know how, because I haven't sold the D.R. Horton in a couple of years.
No, they would not be able to do that. But they're probably accepting offers on their properties. I mean, it really depends on how many communities they have going and how much inventory they have. But
right. Then let me read my note, and then we'll just As experienced new home agents, we may even be able to negotiate a reduction in the sales price for you with some of our preferred builders. Our team is committed to finding the right home for you. I kid you not, I sell a lot of new construction, and those agents know me. So when you work with an agent that knows another agent, it makes the transaction much smoother.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because that agent feels comfortable with me, and I feel comfortable with them. I feel like I can ask them anything, and they'll actually step up the bat for me, because they know me.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Listen, it's funny because right now I've been dealing with these properties I have, and I'm so elated that I'm dealing with agents that I know are capable. I've worked with them before. It seems like those are actually the agents out there still kicking some tail and getting things done. And a lot of other people might be going by the wayside. I'm sorry. That's how it is,
Well, not to toot my horn, but I don't know if you checked, but I was ranked in the top 1% of real estate agents in Las Vegas. I
told you might be close.
I don't know how many agents are there, over 15,000 plus?
Well, there's licensed agents. There's a whole bunch.
Like 18,000 agents.
Yeah, and then there's actually active, maybe like 11
I ranked
or
213 out of 18,000 agents.
Yeah.
And my team sold over 19 million for the first 6 months of this year.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Kicking some tail.
Yes.
Yeah. That's listen, my mother did that for most of her career. She was very, very
this next strong. 6 months may be another picture. I mean,
but
I still have
everybody's gonna go down relative to,
I still have 10 homes under contract for this year, if they can be built on time. But another thing that's happening is Rob and I's anniversary is coming up.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
When we met? Or?
Yep, when we met, and when we did our
summer.
It was end of this month, July 31st.
July 31st. Wow.
2 years that I've known this mug. Feels like longer.
2 years.
I know.
No, but it doesn't feel like longer. It's just because That's a long time. That's a very long time to go like that.
Yeah. And if you guys want to bail because we're done with the numbers, stay tuned next week. We will be talking about July's numbers. But Rob and I met and we started doing the Rob and Ann show, and we would post that video relentlessly for almost 6 months.
You can watch those horrible shows still if you want.
They
were fun though.
Every Sunday we would post it.
Yeah.
And it was fun because we had a cool editor, and the concept that I thought what I wanted to do this was like to be kind of like Saturday Night Live, the newsroom or whatever.
Yeah.
So Rob and I would dress up as characters, and you were Rocco. What was I can't remember.
Rocco.
What did we had?
Rocco. We had Prey.
Predicting. Who was my character's name?
You had Sally. Was
Sally. Yeah, Sally. Sally the seller. Sally Salamander.
Sally the Salamander.
So you don't have to go watch all those old episodes. The one to watch is actually the best of, which has the blooper reel on it.
On Rob and Ann's show on YouTube,
Rob and Ann's channel. Yeah, Rob and Ann's Real Estate Show channel, I guess.
There you go. Yeah, on YouTube. You'll find it out there.
Yeah. And then our first market update was August of 2020.
Wow.
And we were kind of like feeling each other out, how to, what to do. And we did it in your house.
That's right. We did do it in my house.
Behind your fireplace.
That's right.
Yes.
And we didn't even have it properly mic'd or anything. We just did it with the camera.
Yeah. We were beginners.
But it got a pretty good response.
Yeah.
So we're okay.
And then we had high dreams. We thought we were going to have a team together. Remember?
Yeah.
We would meet.
Hey, listen, nothing's over, Coach.
True. And then 2020 came and 2020 ended, and we're like, we can't do this video every week. This is just getting too much.
We did start getting very busy.
Yeah.
2020 was that year to reset.
Right.
Kind of
reevaluate everything.
We still had stuff going on, but it wasn't overwhelming, and we were, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah. All right, let's read some comments.
Sure.
Montana player.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. So, I think that's it, unless you guys have questions about new construction in Las Vegas, and I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, we ended up talking for an hour anyway.
Yeah.
So hopefully the market update won't be as long this time around because we talked for an hour today.
We'll see. Probably go over a lot of the same stuff, just reiterate some things, but there is going to be plenty, I'm sure, when those numbers come out.
I can't wait to see what those numbers are like.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I know I got to get. I'm leaving town for from the 11th to.
Okay,
11th, but we'll have time to do it.
Right.
But I'll tell you why I'm leaving. It's pretty special in my life, and if you care about those things, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, we want to know. They're sticking around still.
Yeah. They're just at their computer and they got it on the side, and
let us know in the comments if you like our broadcasts. We love doing them, and we can probably talk for hours, literally.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's going on?
Well, I'll save it for the market update. You got to watch it. Watch the market update. It's a big moment in my life, extremely huge moment in my life.
I can't wait to hear.
Yep. So, yeah.
All right. So the numbers are, the first is Monday. So expect us probably towards the end of next week as well, because by the time we get the numbers, we got to get the numbers. So probably next Friday, but we need to plan on doing it early because we learned last time,
It did help. Yeah.
It did help.
So like at 10 10 or 11 a.m.
What do you guys think? Do you think we should do earlier live streaming or should we do late afternoon? Of course, after 3, my brain just shuts off and it's ready for me to lay down and be nappy.
Yeah.
Crispies. I'm very crispy.
Yeah. I've been extra crispy this week. I feel really good today. That's great.
All right, folks. Well, we're just going to end it and stay tuned next week for our 2-year anniversary market update. We may do some special stuff.
Yeah.
And
super cool, Ange.
Yes. Definitely.
I'm glad you reminded me of that. Us guys are kind of bad at anniversary stuff.
Well, you got me a birthday card and a present, so you remembered.
Yeah. I forgot to bring it the last
but it wasn't on
episode.
time.
Yeah. I told you. I'm just a guy, okay? I'm just a guy.
But you're a Pisces, so you have a little emotional.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm juggling. I'm working it out.
All right,
trying
folks,
to do better every day.
Thank you so much for watching.
Hey, Rock on.
And do it peacefully.
And
we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Bye.